Adding and subtraction and fractions. Whenever we add or subtract a fraction, we have to have a common denominator. So let's get started with this. One thing about our denominators, we cannot have 0 in the denominator. So that's out of the question. It's undefined. We dig deeper into algebra on that one. However, example 1 says we have 1/5 plus 2/5. Well, what am I calling the denominator? The denominator is the bottom number. It's basically saying I had 1 out of 5 apples and I added 2 out of 5 apples together. I could do that. But if that denominators were not the same, then you're going to say, I'm going to take apples and oranges and make grape juice, and that doesn't work. So in adding and subtraction, this is a rule we have to apply. However, this one was nice and pretty. It gave us a like denominator. So what I'm going to do is, apologize, my screen jumped here. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and rewrite it all over the same denominator. You do not have to, but I like doing it that way. So I'm going to add the numerators together. 1 plus 2 is 3, and I got 3/5. It does not reduce, so I'm going to leave it alone. Let's go to our next example. Our next example, though, is not so pretty. It didn't have a common denominator. So what we're going to have to do is find the least common denominator, meaning the smallest number that both of the denominators or however many denominators we have will go into. And if you notice, I have 8 and I have 12. Sometimes it's pretty obvious what that number is, and sometimes it's not. I do know that we need to make sure that whatever that number is, 12 will go into it and 8 will go into it, just maybe not the same amount of times. So I know 12 gives me factors of 12, 24, 36, 48, and so on. 8 gives me factors of 8, 16, 24. Oh, I could stop there. Look, they both go into 24. So that will be my least common denominator here is 24. What I need to do is figure out how many times each one goes into it. So if I rewrite this, and you do not have to do this, but it just seems to be really helpful. I could say, okay, 8 times what will give me 24? Because my final, I'm going to write everything over, is going to be 24. Well, 8 times 3, right? What you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. Because what you do to one part, you have to do to the other part. You agree that 3 goes into 3 1 times. So I'm not changing the equation. I'm just making it more doable, more factorable, and manipulating it to work and give me the outcome I need. Next, I'm going to ask myself, how many times is it? What do I multiply 12 to get 24? Basically, how many times does 12 go into 24? And we know 2 times 12 is 24. So what I do to the bottom, I'm going to do to the top. Again, what you do to one part, you have to do the other. I agree that 2 goes into 2 1 times. So I didn't change my equation. Now I have 12 times 2. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3 times 3 plus 13 times 2 all over 24. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 13 times 2 is 26 all over 24. And now you're going to say 9 plus 26 gives me 35 over 24. Now 35 is made up of 5 and 7. 24 is made up of 2s. So this will not reduce. It is a improper fraction. If you want to write it as a mixed number, we ask ourselves how many times or what, how many times will 24 go into 35, right? Because that's going to give me my whole number. So 24 times what will get me close to 35? Well, 1. And then I will say, oh, okay, well, 35 minus that 24, and that gives me 11 with the remainder 11. In one of my videos, I showed how to convert mixed numbers, go back and forth between improper and mixed. So if you're struggling with this, please check out that video. Thank you. Now let's go to another example. I wanted to do another one just for more practice. You do not have to continue to keep going. Just thought it'd be really helpful. We're looking here and I noticed that the denominators are the same and I'm subtracting. So we just completed addition. Now we're subtracting. Now, again, the reason I said you didn't have to continue is just because they both have the same rule. But just remember, subtraction is we're taking away, adding, we're building up. All right. So the denominators are the same. So I have 9 minus 7. Well, 9 minus 7 is what? 2. So 2 over 10. But that reduces. 2 goes in itself once and going to 10 5 times. That is my final answer. It's a proper fraction. Let's do one that don't have a common denominator. So the next one says we have 10 in the denominator and 15. All right, they are not common denominators, so we need to figure out what is the least common denominator. So I got 10, which is products of 20, 30, 40. I want to stop there because 15 is a product of 15, 30, 45. So I know they both go into 40. I mean, not 40, excuse me, 30. So I'm going to rewrite this 9/10 times what? Minus 2/15 times what? 10 times what gives me 30? Well, 3. So what I did to one part, I do to the next. So I got 9 times 3 minus 15 goes into 32 times. What I do to one part, I do to the other, and 2 times 2 now. And it's all over 30. So now I got 9 times 3 is 27 minus 2 times 2 is 4 over 30. 27 minus 4 is 23. 30, it's a proper fraction, will not reduce. 23 is prime. So we're done. So I'll just take one more second or a minute to do the next one. You notice you got 12 and you got 20 in the denominators. So sometimes it's just not as obvious, or it's not as simple. So I can break it down to prime factors. I know 12 is 2 times 6, which is 2 times 2 times 3, which is 2 squared times 3. 20, whoops, let me scroll down just a little bit more so you can see it. 20 is 2 times 10, which is 2 times 2 times 5, which is 2 squared times 5. So let's find our least common denominator. We're going to pick each base once. And we're going to pick the base with the highest power. Well, 2 squared, the highest power is just 2 squared. And then we have 3 to the first and 5 to the first. So we're going to take those. We're going to have 2 squared times 3 times 5. 2 squared is 4 times 3 times 5. 4 times 3 is 12 times 5, which is 60. So my least common denominator is 60. So I got 11/12 times what? Well, we just found out it's 5 minus 13/20 times what? Well, 20 goes into 63 times. So now I got 11 times 5 minus 13 times 3 all over 60. So I got 55 minus 39 divided by 60. And now we got 55 minus 39 is 16 over 60. Let's reduce this. I know 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 30 is 60. So now I got 8 30s. Let's reduce by 2 again. 2 goes into 8 4 times. 2 goes into 30 15 times. So that is my number. It's a proper fractions and it's 4/15. Thank you.